Hey guys, welcome back to Vehicular Overdrive, and today the Mustang's back. Alright, hey guys, I am back, and admittedly it's the next day, but I did get a few goodies from the good old Harbor Freight. So let's go over them here. I got a new creeper because this job's gonna be pretty messy with all the trans fluid that was everywhere all over the highway. Yeah. Also, I got some larger jack stands. The other ones just were too small. They weren't going to cut it to get the car up high enough. And again, I also got a bigger jack. And I'm actually going to do a review on this thing. So stay tuned for that on the channel. And in the bag, some goodies. And of course, my lawn chairs that I still need to put together. But let's get the transmission out of this thing and really see what's going on, what we need to replace, and so forth. All right, guys, let's see what the damage is under here. So, yep. Everything's covered in trans fluid. Look at the tunnel. Yeah, all the way back. There's trans fluid everywhere. Holy moly. All right, guys, well, I guess let's get started. All right, guys, so we're gonna start by taking off the cross brace here. These are all gonna be 15 mil bolts, and got 2 on each side. Now we're gonna take this out. It is studded, so you don't gotta worry about that happening. The bolt's backing out on you. What I usually do, every time I'm working, put the bolts back in the exact same spot they came off. That way you don't have any problems down the road. All right, next we're gonna drop the exhaust from the headers back. Now my exhaust is custom, so the bolts are going to be different size than a stock exhaust. But for my application, they are 10 millimeter on both of these flanges here and on the clamp back there. So we undo the flanges here. And if anyone's wondering what these are called, they're actually V-bands. They're used on turbo applications. But I found out that they work great here. In my situation, we'll put on 2 headers. So if you're into a custom exhaust, yeah, definitely be on the lookout for parts. You can use V-bands. They make taking the exhaust on and off so much easier. Okay, so this next part should be similar for all Mustangs. Just taking off these 2 bolts here, 15 mils. There's 2 on either side, and they loosen up these collars. All right, so now that the front half, the exhaust is out of the way, I'm gonna tie the back half around these little, kind of like little clip deals here, just to get it out of the way, so when we're taking the drive shaft off, we don't have to be finagling with the back end of the exhaust. Zip ties. All right, guys, so now that we have the exhaust zip tied up, next I am going to actually move up to the O2 sensors and get those taken out so we don't damage anything. And to do that, of course, I need a good old-fashioned O2 socket. If you don't have one of these, definitely get one, because they are a lifesaver, knowing that these things are usually stuck like chucks. So definitely get one of these things. So I think I'm gonna have a transmission problem, y'all. I mean, I don't know. Y'all tell me. All right, guys, and so to take the drive shaft off, there's 4 of these 12-point bolts. I have a ratcheting 12-point socket that I use for it, but you're gonna have to have the e-brake on to break these bolts loose, and then take the e-brake off, rotate the drive shaft, put the e-brake back on, and then break the bolts loose, and then you can take them off. Then we can rip this whole drive shaft out. Okay guys, now that the drive shaft's out of the way, we're gonna look at taking the shifter linkage apart, taking it off the transmission. Also, there are a ton of little wires and stuff, sensors, reverse light sensor, O2 sensors attached to the transmission. If you can focus there, you can see there's some more back there and up there. So we're gonna get all those taken off as well. Again, there's only the O2 sensors here and there. And then the reverse light sensor here. And I believe that's it. If there's any more, oh, there's one more here, the neutral. And I think that's it. So yeah, we'll get those taken off, and then we'll go after the starter, all the bolts, and then I'll take the cross brace off, transmission cross member, whatever you want to call it, and we'll get this thing out, and hopefully everything inside of there is not too busted up, and only we need a new transmission. So we'll see when we get to that stage. Stay tuned. All right, guys, so I do have the Hurst competition short throw shifter, so it might be different for you guys, but for me, 10mm bolt here, 13mm bolt up top, and you can just loosen those up. I've already broken them loose so I can get them hand tied and untighten them on camera. And I'll show you guys how this thing comes apart. It's really simple. This linkage obviously comes this way, and the top one comes off, up and back. Yep. Okay guys, so now that we're all cleaned up under here, and it was a mess, but thanks to the big old bucket of tub of towels I got everything pretty much cleaned up. So next, I will take off the bolts here, holding the transmission to the cross member, and then I'm gonna start undoing the bolts for the transmission and start working on that, getting that starter out. Again, this is just the way I'm gonna do it. You guys can look up the correct manuals and specs and all that stuff. But this is how I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna take the starter off, remove the bolts from the transmission, and then we're gonna take the cross member out, supported by the jack, and take the transmission out. So here we go. And of course, this should go without saying, always remove the negative terminal from the battery whenever you start doing work with any electricals. Yeah, so it should go without saying, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Remove the negative terminal from the battery before you touch the starter, please. Also, if you have a Mustang, do remember to roll the windows down. Open the trunk if you need anything out of there, and make sure the door's unlocked. Yeah, Okay guys, so I got the starter out. I didn't film it because it's kind of tight under there where the starter is, but it sits exactly like this under the vehicle. This is the front of the vehicle here, and that's towards the back. There's two 10 millimeter bolts here and right there that hold it together. There's a 13 millimeter here, and a 10 millimeter here for the main powers and whatever the heck that is. I don't know. I'm no auto mechanic, but yeah. So you take those two off, and yeah, the starter should come right out. Mine does need a little bit of cleaning because the transmission exploded, transmission fluid everywhere. So I'm gonna get that cleaned up, and we'll keep moving. All right, guys. So I finally got the transmission out, and as you can see, it's seen better days. Yeah, I found a spring in there. Who knows where that's from? And a couple pieces of metal in there, but got it out. Fairly easy. If you're looking for this to be a tutorial, I can't really help you there because I suck at it, but there's a couple bolts up top that you have to deal with. And what makes it really easy is a couple of extensions and a swivel head. If you got those, you can get to those. Bolts on the top really easy, crack them loose, and take them on out. Yeah, so on goes the journey of putting the new one in and getting everything cleaned up. It's really gonna be getting everything cleaned up because it is a mess. The new transmission did not come with the bell housing, so I'm gonna have to get that cleaned up. And yeah, under the vehicle, I'll show you that here in a second, but it's fluid everywhere under there as well. I'm replacing the clutch, flywheel, and all that stuff, so I don't have to deal with that. But yeah, those parts are also covered in trans fluid. So yeah, here it is. All right, guys. So you seen the old one, and here's the briny new shiny one from let's see, Allstate Gear. I use transmission. I'll give those guys a call. There's information. I also put a link in the description box below. They took good care of me. This was supposed to be shipped 2-day shipping, and UPS couldn't do it, but Allstate, they refunded my shipping costs and all that stuff right away, and let me know. So yeah, guys, good company. We'll see if they do a great job rebuilding transmissions. Yeah, we'll see after we get this thing put back together and get some miles on it, but so far so good. Okay, so now that we got the transmission out of here, we can take care of the 6 bolts that hold on the pressure plate. You can kind of see them there. All around there are 10 millimeters. And then we can tackle the flywheel itself, which is 6 more bolts. I believe they're 12 point, and I believe they're 10 millimeters. So yeah, let's get this pressure plate out of here, get the clutch out, and then get that flywheel out. And as you can see, it's pretty dirty. That's why I'm changing all this stuff, because the trans fluid pretty much soaked everything. So and get this changed out, get some fresh stuff in there, and yeah, get back on the road. Okay, now that we got the pressure plate and the clutch out of there, we can get to these 8 bolts here. I said it's 6 earlier, but I believe that is on the GT models. I'm gonna do the 4.0, so I have 8 because all that torque and power. Now, let's get these off and get this thing cleaned up. Okay, guys, so I want to show you how you don't have air tools and not a lot of room, and if you have these stupid e-torque bolts that Ford uses, how to get the flywheel off without impacts or air. So you want to go to Lowe's, Home Depot, something like that, get you one of these chains, and you're gonna use one of the pressure plate bolts and bolt the chain up to the flywheel here, and then use something else, another point, to keep the chain tight while the flywheel tries to turn. I use 2 points down here for this cross brace that runs around the side of the car. You can also use, if I back up, you can also use the transmission cross member mounts if you have a thick enough chain, because those bolts are pretty big for the cross member. But yeah, so that's how you put those bolts on, and it'll probably be the way we tighten them as well, but just flip-flop. So if you want to tighten them, we're going to move the chain from this side here to this side here. So yeah, that's how that part's done, and we can now remove the flywheel and get everything cleaned up and get the new parts on.
Hey guys, appreciate you guys sticking with me through this video. I know it's been rough being my first one, but hey, we all gotta start somewhere. So I'm just gonna do a recap on some tips and tricks to putting the transmission back in the car, getting everything bled and ready to go. So it is ready to go. It's been on the road now for a couple days, and I'm just gonna go over a couple things with you guys. So what I would recommend first is a good set of eTorque sockets. I got mine from Lowe's. For these V6 cars, Ford use eTorques. I don't know why, but if you use a 12 point on those bolts, you will strip them. You will have a very bad day. So please get your set of those from Lowe's. Also, I'd recommend a Harbor Freight transmission jack. 99 bucks, simple, easy. Definitely going to be a world of a difference of aligning the transmission back into the car and through the pilot bearing. Lastly, I am going to recommend a brake bleeder kit from, again, Harbor Freight. So these cars do have a seal system, and with that you'll have to bleed the clutch from the reservoir. And I'll put a link down in the description box below for the Ford manual on actually how to do it properly, so that way you guys don't have any problems with that. Yeah, so other than that, I think that's all I have for transmission install for 2008 Ford Mustang. It works for the 05 through the 09 that I know of, maybe even the 10 through the 12s. But yeah, appreciate you guys checking out my channel today. Stay tuned for more car stuff. It's gonna be a blast. Subscribe, follow me on Instagram, all the good stuff, like button, blah, 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 blah. Thanks guys, appreciate it. Peace.